Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right, so 'tis the season. So if you're watching this, this video, because, I put my videos on YouTube. So if you're watching this and you're seeing it and it's after December, just know that this is recorded in December. But you're going to see this stuff throughout the year, but I definitely want to address it. Okay. So I'm seeing the foul language. I'm seeing the not quite telling the truth kind of thing with, talking about business and taxes. So I really want to talk about that. So I saw an advertisement that says, the government pays you to run your business. If you want to basically increase your refund, you need to start a business. If you, the government pays you to hire your kids, ask me how. Okay. So I'm really about to take off the planet because I really want to make sure that you understand what this looks like so that you go in with the blinders off, because one of the things that really irks me is that we have too many people trying to game the government. And then when you get busted, you want to cry the blues. Okay. So this is why I want to have this conversation. And I just want to show you what this looks like. So, the thing about starting a business, we talk about this all the time. When you're first getting started in business, you're expected to lose money, right? It's not a surprise, right? Because you're investing in a business and you really may not have had the chance to even sell stuff yet. Okay. And so, in the beginning, it might work out great, but over time it does not. And so I'm going to show my screen and, hopefully, and just in a simplistic example, give you an example so you can see based on your tax return what this looks like. Because when you have a job, all right, when you are working your job, you are earning your W-2, your taxes are taken out before you even get your paycheck. Generally, we're speaking about, 28% of your money is withheld for your taxes between federal and state. Okay. Roughly about that much, depending on your state, it might be a little bit less. Because there are some states that don't have state income tax. I think there are 7 states that don't have income tax, but everybody else does, right? So you're looking at about 28% of your money being taken out. And so, so the thing about it is what's on everybody's mind during tax time is, how do I get my money back? And so what I want to share with you, number one, is that a refund, like everybody's like, I want to get a refund. Well, you are not entitled to a refund. Not everyone is entitled to a refund. A refund is an overpayment of taxes. That is what that is. And when it comes down to business owners, when your business is making money, you don't get tax refunds. You pay taxes. Okay. And so when I see these advertisements that are really used as marketing ploys to get people in, it irks my entire spirit, because it's not the whole entire truth. So I'm going to share my screen. And like I said, hopefully this comes out right so that y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right. So here we are. And let me look on my phone to make sure this is working right so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So I can make sure the screen is doing its thing. Okay, great. You guys can see that. All right. So what I'm showing you here is your Schedule C. Okay. The majority of home business owners are sole proprietorships or single member LLCs, which, for tax purposes is treated as a sole proprietorship. So you have all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So let's just say, when it's all said and done, you have this loss here. Okay. And so we're saying a negative $12,000. All right. Because see, if you're talking about hiring your kid, you're going to spend, you up to $12,000 you can hire your kid. There are some other rules that go with that, but and we'll talk about that just briefly because this is one of the big ones. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're showing a net loss of $12,000, right? So on your return, that's going to be let's see here. It'll go to your Schedule 1 for this new tax return where it says business income or loss. So it'll go here on your Schedule 1 for your adjustments to income. And then on your 1040, it's going to wind up here. Okay, so now let's say that you have a job where you're earning $50,000 a year, but then you're showing a business loss of $12,000 a year. Then that's going to take your adjusted gross income. So you're going to be at $38,000, right? Okay, and so what that means is that you have now told the government that, hey, I really didn't make $50,000. I only made $38,000. And so then your tax is going to be based on this $38,000. And then you have your deductions and all of that, right? So you have all of that. And then once you get all those down, you get down to your total tax. Okay. So your total tax, let's say your total tax is, $7,000 is what you're due. Okay. And then you have your federal income tax withheld. So you're basing your income tax withholdings on this $50,000. It could be that you're single. It could be that you're married and two working household or whatever, right? It could be whatever. So then your federal income tax withheld might be $13,000. Okay. And so then that means that you would be entitled to a refund of $6,000. Okay. So that's how this loss ends up on your tax return. This is how it affects your numbers. So you're telling the government, hey, I didn't make $50,000. I lost $12,000 in this business. So really I only owe tax on $38,000. And so government says, okay, so if you only made $38,000, your total tax due on that. And this is just an example. I want you to understand the math behind this and how it works out on your tax return. Okay. So, you've got, so the government says, okay, well, based on this $38,000 in deductions and all of that, you only owed $7,000, but you had, $13,000 withheld. So then we're going to, say that, okay, you overpaid, and then you're going to get this refund of $6,000 that we owe you back. Okay. That's what this says. Okay. Now, so when you are saying, okay, this Schedule C, I'm losing money, and then you're seeing, oh my gosh, I'm getting this huge refund back, you're thinking, holy cow, this looks great. Okay. So now let's get the rest of the story. Okay. So when you are talking about, business losses and that kind of thing, that only works for a couple of years. So understand that the government is slow, but they're not stupid. And what I mean is they start to look at these things. They're like, okay, Lysandra, you lost $12,000 your first year. Okay. And so then they go look at the next year. Now, Lysandra is saying, okay, so if I show a loss on my business, then I get more money back, right? Because the government's paying me. Okay. We're getting more of this money back. So we're doing that the year 2. We're doing that year 3. The IRS hadn't said anything. Life is freaking good because I'm getting all this money because the government pays me. But see, then come year 4 and year 5, and you're still showing that loss, and you're still trying to increase this refund, or you're trying to reduce your taxable income, right? And so then the IRS goes, there's something about this that isn't right, because see, you're still continuing to lose money. How are you in business? So then they send you a letter in the mail that says, hey, we'd like for you to substantiate these expenses. Okay. It starts out with the letter that says, hey, we want more information about this. So it might be your mileage. It might be your whatever expenses that you have that they ask to see this stuff. And see, they look at what the amount of time that you're spending on your business. They're looking at the amount of income that you're earning. They're looking at, okay, so how are you losing this money and you're still in business? It doesn't make sense. And that's the kind of thing that causes an audit. So when people are saying, people with Schedule C's get audited more, that's because there are more lies told on a Schedule C than anywhere else. So this is why I tell you, number one, you don't go into business to try to get a tax break. That is the wrong reason to start a business. You start a business because you want to be in business, because a business is designed to make money. If you are constantly and continually losing money because you heard the government pays you, you think that the government is paying you to screw up, you are misguided. That is not the correct information. And this is why I want to share this video, because I know there are going to be some home business owners that are using this as a recruiting tool that are going to be kind of ticked off at me. And hey, be that as it may, you're not going to be the one that's answering to the government. The people that don't really get what's happening, those are the people that's going to have to answer to the government. Okay. This is why I'm having this conversation, and it has happened. Okay. Don't, just because you don't see it in the news doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay. That's where, what I want people to really get is like, if I don't hear that it happened to Joe, then it's not going to happen to me. And that is not the case at all. Because see, while the IRS is monitoring these things, they're not telling you, hey, we're watching what you're doing. They are building a case against you. And when they build a case against you and they come for you, they don't come for you unless they're sure they can win. So when they're sure they can win, which is generally 8.5 times out of 10, okay? So basically 9 times out of 10, the government wins. So this is why I want to have this conversation, because see, you've got to have all sorts of documentation in place to substantiate your business, to say, yes, I'm in business. And so one of the most recent cases, and you guys have heard me talk about this case before, was a couple in Florida that was a part of, a popular network marketing company that has been around for ages. Okay. They have been around for ages. It's a couple, double, almost 6-figure earning couple. So they bought the products. They went to all the meetings. They went to all of the events and whatnot. And so for 5 years, this business showed a loss. The IRS came back and audited them and said, hey, you're not putting enough time in this business to make the sales. So therefore, the little minuscule sales that you have don't count. You have a hobby and you need to go back and give us this money. Okay. So this is why I'm saying it's like this stuff, this is not the stuff that hits the blotter. This is not the stuff that hits CNN and all of this stuff. It's people getting, that have to suffer in silence. And as far as, as far as showing profit, like what is the limit and all of this stuff? No, you have to be, that's the one thing the IRS doesn't say. It doesn't say that, an amount that you have to show, but you know what? But they're looking. Right? They're looking at your progression. So this year you might lose $12,000. The next year you only lose $3,000. Okay, that's progress. The next year after that, you might lose $1,000. There's progress, right? But see, again, if you're continually like trying to show this minuscule profit or whatever. Like I said, the IRS is slow, but they're not stupid. If it's something that triggers them, they're going to come looking. And so that's when you have to have your documentation together. That's when you got to be able to prove your calendar to say, hey, you met with so-and-so on this day, or, what product you're selling and all of that, your bookkeeping, all of that's got to be in order to substantiate this business, instead of saying, the IRS being able to come back and say, okay, no, boo, you got a hobby. Okay. So yeah, that's what I want you to take away from this. The government is not paying you. When you are losing money in business, you are reducing other income. So if you've got some 6-figure job or whatever, and you're continually showing a business loss to reduce your taxable income, that is what triggers the IRS. and it's not cool. So, so if you are losing money and you have everything substantiated and all of that and everything, you got all your ducks in a row, then hey, fantastic. But if you don't, if you're simply just running a business, operating a business as a loss center to reduce your taxable income, that is a problem. One of the things that gets me, when you're talking about hiring your kids, yes, you can hire your kids in your business, but no, you cannot pay your kids to do ordinary chores. Okay, that bugs me because see, you can't pay your kids to wash dishes when it has nothing to do with your business. You can't pay your kid to mow your lawn when you don't see clients at your home on a regular basis. See, you've got to know all the rules behind these types of things. That, you hear the buzzwords and you thinking, cool, I can start this business. I can show a loss. I can write off up to $12,000 of income and have this kid, doing what they do, vacuuming my whole house and all of this stuff. And I can just write this off. That is incorrect. You got to know the rules. So don't get caught up in the hype. Okay. Consult with a tax professional. If you don't know one, call me. Okay. Because see, if it's the rules, it doesn't matter if you can take the deduction. If you don't follow the rules, then the deduction gets disallowed and you pay back any type of money that you got for it. So the rules are what's important. Okay. So I hope this gives you some food for thought. Share this out, you guys, because when you see these these ads, and I know it's like, oh my gosh, I want the government to give me some money. The government's not giving you money. You're telling the government that you didn't make as much money as you said, and you're reducing your taxable income, therefore reducing the amount of tax due to the government. And then if you have withheld more than what you're saying, then yeah, you get a refund. But then if you go back and get audited and the IRS says, no, we're disallowing all of this, then you're going to be paying that money back with penalties and interest. So that is what I want you to take from this. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9:00-ish, and you can come here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.